9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're on. Hey, welcome. It's IFB, everybody, Interfleet Broadcasting. You like that? Yeah, you got to put it on. Do it. Yeah, that's right. He's an Android. It doesn't matter. I'm New York Pete. That's my buddy, the Tipsy Toaster, Chris. It's, our show is all about, the two guys that grew up watching 70s and 80s TV, movies, cartoons, and, pop entertainment, culture, sci-fi, and all that great stuff. And
all the good stuff.
We're going to have a good time. Oh, of course it is. And we got guests for you tonight, of course. John 1 is in the wings waiting, and show is here, man. So let's rock this, Chris. I'm hoping everybody is up and about. I'm looking forward to the chats, and make sure everyone that if there's any issues or anything, make sure you give us a heads up. Because
you've got chats, right? You got the chat?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? I see chats.
I
see Tara's on YouTube.
Okay, so I am going to...
it's because the colonials have a problem with digital work thing. So they're a little troglodytish.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it has more to do with the fact that Chris is a little bit... Android, and I'm gonna try it out.
You know what? When you said that I'm a little bit Android, the only thing that popped into my head was Donnie and Marie. I'm a little bit country, and you're a little bit of rock and roll.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that?
Just making sure I'm not the crazy one here. Well, I am the crazy one here.
You are. You are. You are the crazy one. What are you talking about now?
You're a little bit
all
country.
Right, we're good to go.
I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Good to go. I'm going to put out the welcome all. You are the crazy and there we are. We're set. Okay, so this is all a go. Welcome everybody to the show, and it's IFB time. So drop us a quick chat and Battlestar bulletin board. Sean Shallow. A good friend and supporter of past guests. Thanks for joining us live tonight. And everybody who watches us afterwards as well, welcome. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for watching. Chris, we have some thank yous. We have some announcements to make. I want to make sure everybody knows that we're going to certain cons, right?
Go right ahead.
So, yeah, well, listen. So you guys, if you haven't heard it once, you've heard it like 10,000 times now. We are going to AwesomeCon in DC, June 3rd and 4th.
Awesome.
I believe that Chris may even be there for the 5th. I'm not sure yet, but we're definitely going to be there Friday, Saturday as a team. Chris, I think, is going to stay and stay there to the 5th. However, we have a panel Friday night. Hope to see you guys if you can make it. And so tonight we're also going to announce that we're going to be going to Fanboy Comic-Con or Fanboy Expo in Knoxville, Tennessee on August 5th and 7th. And we're confirmed with tickets for New York Comic-Con in October as well. So we'll be adding some of the smaller venues as they come up, but those are confirmed. And hope to see you guys there. Please let us know. We're going to have a good time with that. And the rest of you guys that are on live, feel free to chat up. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And Chris, we also have some other quick announcements. Let's thank our sponsors for buying us our actual, ciders and beers tonight. Brigitte from Austria, I believe it's Canauder, Fran Severn, and
we're probably
David
butchering
Alexander.
that. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, we probably are. Apologies, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for sponsoring. And New York in October may do that. Battlestar Bulletin Board, you better let us know. Carl, welcome, Carl. Colin Schmidt is on board with us as well. Thank you for joining us live. And man, Sean, if you're coming, you got to give us a heads up for New York Comic Con. We're definitely going to meet up. We're definitely going to go out for dinner. So,
and we'll probably do CMOD. We'll have CMOD there too. So we're going to get up with CMOD, Colonial Ministry of Defense. CMOD.
That would be. That's an awesome con.
Yep, awesome con. You're talking New York Comic Con. I'm sorry.
Yeah, New York Comic Con. You're crossing streams.
I'm crossing the streams again, man.
Yes, the Comic Con streams. So you need to take it easy, buddy. However, so we got a bunch of stuff going on. Thank you everybody for, sponsoring our drinks tonight. But I also want to make sure that everybody is aware that not only do we have Chris Marshall with us, we also have Chuck Davenport is also on board and part of the IFB team doing our CG work. So that cool stuff that you see in the beginning and some other things that are coming.
Amazing.
They are. So they're
thank you so much.
Now part of the team. And last one before we do our toast is Mediocre Modeler has signed on to be our prop master. So we're doing our props for a project that the Tipsy Toaster is spearheading. So more on that as we get closer to the project reveal.
All right, we'll cover it later. I can talk a little bit about it later. So,
okay, cool. Yeah. So welcome aboard, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Jason, hello from Southern Cali. So say we all. Jason, thanks for joining us live. As you pop up on the chat, I always like to shout out all our guests.
Lee said he's been in the hospital lately, so at least he's back now. So.
He's back. That's right. Lee, glad to hear you're okay. George's and the Lolas and everybody else.
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl. I always got to do that.
You have to.
Music gets into my head and it kind of sticks there. Wow. I need more. Well, I need to start drinking. So let's go ahead and do that.
Let's do it. Okay. So go for it. What do you got tonight? What is your?
I'm gonna have to let you start because my Colonial mug is over there.
Okay, so I got
everything but my Colonial mug. So I'm going to go ahead and push the Pete, and I'll be right back.
Okay, do it. Let it go. So quick. Angry Orchard. This is a special peach mango hard cider. Chris is not a fan. I don't care. That's a Cylon problem, not my problem. This is from New York, and it's only 5% alcohol by volume. Because I like to moderate the alcohol I take in, unlike my partner, the Tipsy Toaster. He lives up to his name. So I got this. And,
hey, you're going out there, aren't you?
As a matter of fact, I am. I am going up to Angry Orchard, and I am going to go to the, quote, cideries, and I'm going to be visiting them, and I'm going to mention that we enjoy their cider and our show. We'll see what comes out of that.
Thing. You got a mouse in your pocket?
Well, I am generous enough to include you in this, the embrace and the love of the colonies extended to even you, but you are a rejectionist, and that is a you problem.
So I've got a better beer tonight. It is called Champ Amp.
Oh, boy.
By Dogfish Head. And it is described as milk stout brewed with graham crackers, cinnamon,
oh my god,
marshmallows, cocoa powder, and vanilla. So it's a s'more brewed into a bottle. I'm going to have that tonight and see what it tastes like.
All right. Well, Baz is on from Australia, from down under. Baz, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Mackenzie's hard cider black cherry in Utica, very good. That's from our very own John One. That is going to be on, giving us some
Colonials in your ciders.
Oh my God, you need to relax.
If it's not thick and like oil, it's not worth it.
Open it up. Let's go. Open her up.
Let's go. Ready?
Open her up. Let's do it. And okay.
1,
go.
2, 3.
2, 3, go. All right. Oh, okay. And
with
how many times do you have to
cap? Look at that.
Yeah.
Pinkish.
How many times do you have to do that? Is that you should have just done it with your fingers?
No, I had mine.
Stop showing off. Star Trek.
Oh, it smells like a stout.
And I've had mine before.
Like
Get some Melbourne bitter into you. Well, Baz, we'd have to find some of that. I guess it's
probably not around here.
No. Yeah. That's a
Fly us out there, Baz. We'll get some.
I think
you know what, Baz, you fly us out there, and I'll buy the first round.
Someday. Evening and cheers, one and all. Mediocre Modeler, we just announced you're joining us as a prop master on an upcoming project with the Tipsy Toaster. Thank you for joining us live. Carl says, replying to Baz Arms, how is that work for how is the work for building a Viper trailer? Pronounced Melbourne. Okay, sir. Go for it. Go.
Ready?
I did mine.
You dumped yours in already? I didn't hear it.
Oh, man. Oh. Sorry. Oh, boy. That looks like... oh, God. Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
That looks like petrol.
No. Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right,
like
we're set.
Oil right from the well.
That's right. Let's lubricate these joints here in a couple minutes. So anyways, we always like to thank the crowd and thank the fans for being here. And we have our saying is fans fuel the fleet. So this is to you, for those who write, those who act, those who buy all the stuff, those who create all the stuff. This is to the fans. You fuel the fleet. Thank you so much.
Fans fuel the fleet. Here's to you guys. All right. Whoa. Okay. Are you chewing? You need to chew.
That's a s'more. That's a s'more. That's a liquid s'more.
Is it really? Last time you had something like this, you were chewing it.
Yeah.
All right. It's syrup. David Alexander, thanks for joining us. Baz says the trailer needs funds, man. Well, no, Baz, we need to try something.
Baz. Let's do it. Yeah.
Something like
fundraiser.
A Kickstarter or something.
Yeah, Kickstarter.
Yeah, good. Come on. Well, we talked about that. We'll talk about it again. Baz, maybe you need to come back on the show and we'll talk a little bit more about maybe an update or something. However, with that said, we do have John 1 is in the wings. I think he's in the green room. And Baz says he'll get there. Of course, obviously, the goal is you've been meeting all your goals. You're going to get there. And if we can help, we will, Baz. John 1 is ready and waiting. And he's got updates on some of the shows and things.
As long as we didn't lose his audio between start and now, because we did that last time.
Yeah, we did.
Nothing like John, having a little fun, right? All right, ready? We ready? We're ready? We're ready? We gonna do this?
Yeah, we're ready. Okay. Well, yeah, go for it.
And now we have John 1. Let's see if we have audio.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hey, look at that.
Hey,
we got
John,
audio.
what's up, buddy?
Did it work? Not much.
Look at that.
Yeah, it did.
Woo, we're almost professional looking now.
Woo!
I was out enjoying the warm weather today, so don't mind the shine.
Oh.
Hey, they let you out sometimes. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep, let me go run around. Burn some energy. All right. Amazon will be coming back. The Boys will be back June 3rd. There will be new heroes, new things to see.
Oops.
Jensen Ackles from Supernatural will play Soldier Boy. And people, okay, we were on a good start.
I was looking through it before it didn't reset. Now hang on. Now we can reset it.
There we go.
Now here we go. Now we're set.
All right.
Jensen Ackles will play Soldier Boy. If anyone reads the comic book, he's got more to hide. So Homelander will kill him. That's the whole season. Why bother watching?
Who's gonna kill him?
No. Don't say that. That's not how it works.
Check it out. June 3rd. It's gonna be a good series. And let's see. Amazon also has another series coming out, Night Sky, starring Sissy Spacek and J.K. Simmons. They're both good actors. Ooh. They're a couple that hides a secret chamber in their barn that leads to a different world. And everything is the same until a mysterious man comes by and starts changing things up for them. Check that out on Amazon on May 20th.
Sissy
Spacek.
Wow.
Gosh, she's been around a while.
Yeah.
I think I watched her in Coal Miner's Daughter. I think that's what she was in, right? It could be
Coal Miner's Daughter, yep. Carrie.
Yep.
She was in Carrie too, right?
I think so as the mom, yeah.
Well, 50 years now.
A while ago.
Woo.
Yeah. Oof.
That's great that she's into sci-fi now. Well, Carrie was kind of sci-horror, but...
And J.K. Simmons is always good, too. He was in Spider-Man and Oz, so I always like watching him.
I watched Oz.
It was a good series on HBO.
Well, I'm excited about this next one.
And Netflix's animated series, Love, Death, and Robots, will be back for a third season. Finally.
I love this
very
show.
Good. Good stories.
Yeah, I wonder why.
It's pretty funny. See it May 20th on Netflix. The Orville has left Fox and will be arriving at the Hulu universe on May 27th. Good
Wow.
news, because I think that comedy needs a better TV station to show it, so they can show the one raunchy and go with that type of humor. That's it. And yes, this is a reminder. Obi-Wan will be on Disney Plus May 27th. Hayden Christensen will reprise his role as Anakin or Darth Vader. Hopefully, he improves his acting. We'll see.
Yes.
It should be a good series.
Yes. Agreed.
Hayden Christensen's in, and Darth Maul is out, so that should be good. The Time Traveler's Wife. The series will appear on HBO Max May 15. Rose Leslie from Game of Thrones will be in it. This is not based on the movie, but it's a different series, and it's about a guy who falls in and out of time and while having a relationship with his wife.
Oh, that sounds a lot like what was the one with Christopher Reeve?
Somewhere in Time.
After Time.
Somewhere in Time. It sounds a lot like that.
Yep. It was a good movie. Time at the Time.
Yeah, it was.
It's something like that. Yeah, he comes back, he falls into time, and he comes back, keeps coming back to his wife, and it's weird.
So it's a Notebook kind of the Notebook / Somewhere in Time mix. Sounds like.
Yes. Yep.
They'd done one of these a few years ago, and it was very, very good. And I don't know if it was the time travelers. Was it the wife or the husband?
Yeah, it was.
I don't know.
Anyway, they had a movie on it.
It was good. It was good. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I remember seeing that. It's really, really good. John McCartney, hello, Fleet. Hello back to you. Thanks for joining us live. And let's see. Baz, Time Traveler's Wife, is this a remake? Yeah, Baz wants to know. Eric Bana.
Yeah, it's going to be a series, not the remake of the movie.
It was brilliant, Baz. I agree.
I think Eric.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
Was there.
Yeah.
And the kids are back. Stranger Things 4, season 4 drops on Netflix May 27th.
Yay!
That should
Finally.
be good. It's a part season. It's going to be in parts. The first part drops May 27th. The next one goes in July, I think. That's for season 4.
Yeah.
One more season to the end, unfortunately. Well, it seems Star Trek Strange New Worlds is living up to all the hype. I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching the series, the stories. People who made this show had to be Trekkies because some of the stuff that come out, the Doctor, he was in like the first episode. Kirk's brother was in it. He goes back to history. It's like, wow.
It's funny you chose that graphic because that's the book by John Jackson Miller.
Yep.
Which we had on the show. Yeah. Good stuff.
Our previous guest, John Jackson Miller, has a book on Star Trek or Strange the High Country. It comes out November 28th, 2022.
And I can't say enough about his other book, the one in the Discovery universe he wrote.
Yes.
I can't remember this. I can't recall the name of it. I listened to it, so I do listening. I listened to it already. It was really good. And I also listened to his short story that was in was it Star Trek? It was Star Trek Empire Strikes Back from a different point of view.
Oh, that was great. Yeah,
that was a good shit. That was a good one too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's see. And I'm going to feel the need for speed again. Top Gun sequel Maverick will be back. Will be in theaters May 27th as Tom Cruise reprising the same role. I guess he's still flying after 30 years, but hey, that's movies.
Yeah, exactly.
This week's comic pick is Captain America: Symbol of Truth, #1, and Marvel's Thor vs. Hulk, #1, coming out this week. Should be good. And I'll be checking out CradleCon this week. My minions actually talked me into it. I'll be taking them, so we'll probably get some interviews and good stuff, and maybe meet some people and bring some interviews back for the show.
Cool. Where's that at?
That's going to be at the Cradle Aviation Museum in Garden City, New York, this Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be a cosplay thing, comics, some writers. Should be pretty good.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, our friend Tony is going to be there. So maybe you run into him. We met up with him at WinterCon. He was a guest on our on IFB. Friend goes back a long way.
Yeah, we interviewed him at Dragon Con. He was a Jawa.
Yep. And so he's with us live tonight too. Thank you for joining us. George G is in the house. Thanks for joining us, George. Mediocre modeler. Hey, Baz, that sword looks pretty good. And
it doesn't look as good as a Cylon sword would, though.
I was waiting for him to say that. Set you up, Baz. Set you up.
Samurai swords.
Sean says Top Gun's getting rave reviews. Let's see. Oh, so Tony says he's going to be a Rebel pilot, so look for him at CradleCon this weekend. And all right, so we shall see, guys. Yep, Lola, of course. Yep. All right, cool, very cool. Fran is joining us live as well. Looking forward to AwesomeCon. Fran is going to be with us on the panel on Friday, as well as Mr. Zuvalos, the filmmaker, award-winning filmmaker, is going to debut and premiere in the convention circle a trailer for his episodic movie that he's doing called TNG. So he will be on panel with us as well.
Which almost sounds like the next generation, but it's not.
It's not. No, it's not. So yeah, it's a Marvel Universe fan film, and I saw it. I was at the special screening premiere that I got to go to, the Insider one. I posted a picture up on IFB. So yeah, we're gonna have a good time, guys. It's all gonna be great at AwesomeCon, and the rest of the cons that we're going to, keep you posted as they come up. Chris, can you see how many hours and inventive 2 lung blisters and blood go into making a sword before you even duel with it? Yes, my friend Baz. Yes. So one day you must make.
You go to his site and watch him. He's filing away. He's beating.
Man, it's insane.
It's hours within hours of.
Oh yeah, it's insane. So John, thanks
angry
for
smashing.
Yes, angry smashing, Hulk smash. John, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the updates. And make sure you take pictures. I will. Copious amount of pictures, and then we'll do some of that next time you come back, when you circle back onto the ship, and we'll talk about what CradleCon, since it'll be your first time, the first impressions. That'll be a nice way to talk about, what it was like to go to that.
Yep, and then look for, if you happen a chance to look through some comics. I'm looking for, what is it? It was one of those weird ones. I'll send you a text. It's okay. I'm looking for some. I think it's Airwolf comics. Good luck finding them, but if they happen to have them.
Hey, John, did you get tickets for New York Comic Con?
Yes, I did.
Yep. All right, what days you going?
I'm going Saturday with my nephews, so we'll be there.
All right. So we'll link up. All right, very good. Lee wants to know: do Cylons know which end of the sword to hold? I defer to Chris.
I would ask Baltar.
I don't know if Baltar's around to answer that question, but again, John, thanks for coming on. Thanks for the updates. Baz says thanks as well.
Have we ever seen any Cylons actually use the swords on the series?
Yes. In the original movie, they chopped Baltar's head off.
Yeah, at the end, right? When they grab his head?
Yep, right there at the end. And then, of course, they also try to stab Boxy in the Ovion mines.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Because Boxy wasn't worth a laser bolt, so I guess they just wanted to stab him instead. They had Cylons had all the cool stuff. I had the bayonets, and they had swords, and then of course Colonials had pistols.
That's all they need.
That's all they had.
That's all they need. Yep. No, that's all they need. Paul Roeder is with us. Paul, thanks for joining us. Paul is admin, founder, Colonial Warriors, amongst other groups. He's actually in every one of the Battlestar Galactica groups. You would see him at a con, typically as Commander Kane. So thank you for joining us from the West Coast of the United States, and appreciate your support, sir. Thanks for joining us. And John, again, thanks for doing what you're doing. Keep up the good work. And
we'll see you soon. Yeah, and I'll send you a text on if you can see if you can find a couple of those weird off-brand comics I'm looking for.
Yeah, good luck.
Take care.
Challenge
Thanks,
accepted.
John.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Have a good night.
Yep. Take care. So, all right. Chris, speaking of Battlestar Galactica, I was out there looking around as I sometimes do on Facebook and trying to catch up with a lot of the great posts, a lot of the Facebook groups that are, dedicated to various themes, genres, shows, including one of our beloved, of course, Battlestar Galactica. There is, there was or is or continues to be various individuals that are constantly adding and creating content like Battlestar Bulletin Board and Colonial Warriors and a lot of the other ones. I noticed that there was an author had done a couple of interviews of some of the outstanding Battlestar Galactica fans, and when I saw that, I reached out, and he's actually. I believe the article is complete. We're going to have him come on. His name is Gregory Norris, author extraordinaire. He's books, articles, actually also wrote some television episodes for a well-known sci-fi franchise. I'm going to ask him about that live when he comes on. So without further ado, Chris, since we have Greg Norris with us now in the green room, let's bring him on, man, and let's have a talk. I want to know. Greg, welcome to IFB, sir.
Well, thank you. What a delight to be here. What fun. What fun to be here. But I have to preface, I've been writing since 3 o'clock this morning, so I'm basically dead from the scalp down, and if I slump, you need to hit the red button that sends a jolt through the computer just to wake me up. No, seriously, thank you. What a delight to be here with you guys and also your viewers.
Well, thanks, Greg. You are, so I've been following you on Facebook. You're constantly writing. You're meeting deadlines. You're proud to talk about it, and so I'm kind of impressed in many different ways and multi dimensions on how dedicated you are to your craft. There was one thing that stood out besides the Battlestar Galactica. I read something about the fact that you had actually been involved in Star Trek, and I believe it was Voyager. Is that correct?
Voyager, yes. There was a time in the mid to late 90s where I was hired by the Sci Fi channel to write for their magazine. And I got to interview everybody on the show, including the creator, Jerry Taylor. And it dawned on me, that I had this great opportunity to get into the show at that time. And I asked her, what's the worst anyone will say? No. I said, I know the show. I have the Bible. I have all of the, the information that they give, their writers and directors. And, and I would love to pitch to you. So my very first pitch was to Robert Hewitt Wolf, who said, don't ever expect you're going to sell us a story. And I took that as a challenge, stupid me, naive, what do I know? So I kept pitching and pitching and pitching. And then one summer, not only did I sell the idea that went on to become Counterpoint in the 5th season, but the one that became Gravity, which was the Tuvok backstory. It was based on a dream I had the night before the pitch, in which characters had fallen into a gravity well. And it was Neelix the Doctor in Paris, but at the time they had on the table an episode they wanted to develop for Tuvok that was sort of like Road Warrior, and they just couldn't bring it together. And that was how they married my pitch into that episode. So those are the two that I contributed to Star Trek Voyager. And it was quite the the adventure and quite the the fun time. I've got the shooting scripts behind me in the cabinets that you see. And since then, I've developed my screenwriting chops. I actually have an option on a tetralogy based on 4 of my spooky short stories that's in development. And I wrote a murder mystery, a modern noir, that's also been optioned by a fantastic actor you might know. His name is Daniel Lynch. And he's a fan of my writing. He reads all my stuff. And we sort of, were talking, and he said, write me something. So I did, and I ended up writing him 2 feature film screenplays. So,
Whoa.
so that's the long Star Trek Voyager backstory.
Oh, that's so cool, man. I'm glad I brought that up. I caught that in your bio and I was like, wait a minute. This is pretty cool. Now, obviously, not to minimize any of the other things, you're a prolific author. You've been published in multiple venues. You do short stories and you're on Amazon and you do so many other things. What got you into the genre? What is it that I mean? Oh, and by the way, Sci Fi magazine. I read Sci Fi magazine. I have my collection of Sci Fi magazine. So, being that you've written for that, I've read your stuff.
Very cool. Well, Richard Hatch, the late great Richard Hatch, was one of my go-to people when I needed a celebrity to be available to do a quote on whatever it was that they assigned us at the last second. The Sci-Fi Channel at the time was very good at giving us, 3-hour deadlines, and I had Richard Hatch on speed dial. He was never too busy. So if you look back at any of the channel news columns that Richard Hatch are in, that was, and I still have the interview tapes from those times.
Oh wow!
So, but yeah,
cool.
my story is, I grew up on a very healthy dose of creature double features and classic science fiction TV. That was what I ate when I was a kid. And the result was that I was always creating stories in my mind. And one summer, the summer of 1980, I had that sort of come to Jesus moment where I'm like, this is what I want to do. It's all I want to do, and it's all that I've done. And here I am, sitting in my writing room, with this wonderful celebrity wall behind me, with all of my childhood icons that I met. There's Richard Hatch right up in the corner. There's two autographed photos of him, and and here I am living, a childhood dream only as an adult. And I often say, if I could go back in time, tell my earlier self what it is you would one day do, the people you would meet, the things that you would accomplish, he would pass out dead. And then, there'd be a paradox. So it's kind of good that there's no sunspot activity.
So, Greg, tell us, I mean, you're constantly writing, and so can you tell us about your muse? How do you, what is it that motivates you? How do you focus in on that? What's your, your writing style and what gets you to where you need to be?
Well, writing, I often say, is the heartbeat inside my heart. I love it. The worst day I ever spent writing was still, a pretty good day. There's this old cliche about, find something you love to do, and if you do it, and you do it well, which, I mean, I hope I do, then you'll never work a day in your life. Now, I know writing is work. I have, the writer's cramps and the crypt keeper claw at the end of the night, to prove it. So I know that there's work involved. It just never feels like work. It feels like the best gift. Today was my birthday. And
Happy
I got up
birthday,
this morning.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Thanks
I got
for
up
coming
this
out
morning, well, talk about a gift. What a great birthday gift. But I got up this morning, like I said, very early. I live with a gigantic feline Daggett who, likes to get me up early. I staggered downstairs, had my coffee, turned on the computer and was getting ready to do my pages. I always write a story on my birthday, and I did write a story today on my birthday. And there was, an acceptance letter on my birthday from a magazine that I absolutely love, which is relevant to our conversation about the Battlestar Galactica universe. But, there was this praise, like, you really knocked this out of the park. Wow, you hit, every bullet point I could have hoped. I love this. It's going to be the lead story, in the next issue. And that, that publication is called Black Infinity. You can find it anywhere. You can find it on Amazon if you Google it. It's Dead Letter Press, Black Infinity. It's classic science fiction. The last issue I was published alongside 3 reprints by Ray Bradbury. So
wow.
It's a pretty humbling, wonderful publication to be part of. And one of the things that I've done for them is is to revisit classic science fiction TV and to revisit it with absolutely unapologetic love. And that's the story that I just wrote on Battlestar Galactica, the classic.
Ah,
and that's
cool.
the one that's coming out in October. So,
Yeah, actually, Mr. Frank Core, I think he's one of
yeah,
he's a supporter and follower, and you interviewed him, I believe, for that article.
he is fantastic. One day last summer, there I am with my Space 1999 mask on my face, going grocery shopping, and the guy who was packing up the groceries to take them out to the car was wearing a classic Battlestar Galactica Warriors jacket. So I said to him at the car, I said, which Battlestar do you serve aboard? Galactica, Atlantia, Pacifica, Solaria, Columbia, Rykon, Pegasus. Rattled down the whole list. I didn't put in Helios, but maybe next time. And so we struck up what ended up being this 2-hour conversation in the parking lot, and now we're thick as thieves. But yeah, he is a source, as well as the late Glenn Larson and Richard Hatch. Those are my my go-to guys. I have all these great interviews I conducted, and I was able to pull that material because I've kept it all. I mean, how could you not?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an opportunity that not everybody gets, and that's one of the things we like to do here is be able to, that's one of the reasons why we like to do interviews and things like this, to capture the stories.
Well, a funny thing about David Francoeur, apparently had some of my books. I write the Jerry Anderson Day After Tomorrow into Infinity novels based on the NBC movie that ran in '76, which I watched as a kid, and then was approached by Anderson Entertainment to novelize. And I've written sequels. Well, he had those books. They were, at his house, a mile down the road from where I live. And none of us were the wiser about that, which was, kind of, again, that whole weird paradox thing, these weird lines, that link the 70s and the 80s to, today, and they're just as relevant. So yeah, I'm always constantly looking out for sunspot activity.
Greg, can you tell us about your process? Sean Shallow is interested and curious. He's also a writer and was a former guest here at IFB himself. How do you, the process, your process?
All right. So, I approach the desk without trepidation. I just sit my Thizo, which is Lebanese for rear end, down on the desk. I uncap the pen and I write. I don't get in my own way anymore because I've been doing this since I was 15 and doing it every day. I write every day. So, I'm kind of a Luddite. I don't compose on the computer unless it's screenplay related. And if it is screenplay related, I do use one of the modern programs that's a standard that saves to what they need, Final Draft. But I grew up writing longhand, and everything I've ever written dating back to the very start is archived behind me. Those filing cabinets are all alphabetized with ridiculous precision, and they're so full right now. There are 1,615 completed manuscripts in there, in those two filing cabinets. So if there's a loud explosion, it means that they spontaneously combusted like a grain silo at a farm, from the sheer weight. When this house, I live in a big, beautiful old house called Xanadu. And when this house collapses into the earth, it's going to be from the weight of all the books and the manuscripts in it. I'm convinced. So
now we got that song stuck in my head. Xanadu.
Yep. So I write longhand, and then I transfer onto the computer, and I do all the heavy lifting in my longhand drafts so that, once I get to the technology, I can just focus on grammar, editing, polishing, making sure everything is perfect, and then, sending it out the door so that, it has a chance out there. And, so far, so good. I publish constantly, and I have editors who come to me constantly, and they know that if they ask me for something, I'm going to deliver it, not only on time, but early. I just had last week an 8-day deadline to turn in a book that was written longhand that was not due until the end of June. And there was a great opportunity to get some incredible promotion on this book, which is based on 6 Edgar Allan Poe stories, modern,
Yes.
Gothic reinterpretations of Edgar Allan Poe. And like I said, the book was done, but my publisher said, I don't want to stress you out. If you can do it, we have a great chance here. I said, we'll do it. And 8 days, this massive amount of editing and paperwork, and it all got done early. So,
Wow.
So yeah, so I work with publishers that I absolutely love, and they make what I do, in the commerce side of my art, very delightful.
So, Greg, do you actually have? Are you encumbered in any way by does it have to be yellow paper, or is it legal pads, pens, or pencil, or does that matter to you? I know some people it does.
Pens, white lined paper. If I didn't have any of that stuff, I'd slit a vein and I'd write on the walls.
Excellent. Oh, and what about music? Do you have background noise, white noise? Does that matter to you?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it all depends. I live in this, like I said, this beautiful house in northern New Hampshire. And if you take a right at my driveway and one more right at the end of the road, there's Mount Washington right there. So it's an incredible view around me of the mountains and the trees, and everything is greening right now. And it's very inspiring. So, my sun porch is like my alfresco office. And I just spend all summer out there marinating and getting microwaved, because it's so beautiful out there. So I go out there and I set up, and, I have a nice coffee and I write and forget what time it is, forget to eat dinner, and then it's the next morning and I'm doing it all over again. But I do, I love an easy pen that doesn't, that minimizes the fact that I do write longhand, and I write a lot longhand. I try to do 10 pages a day. Sometimes I do 15 to 20, and that's not unusual.
Wow.
But I hate manila folders. They're so boring. So my one office supply fetish is like designer folders, and I have these great ones right now. They're called, funnily enough, the solar system, and it's images from the Hubble telescope of all the planets in the solar system. So
cool.
They're so beautiful. I can't help but make sure that my stories, even the ugliest things I've ever written, are kind of dressed up beautifully when they go in the filing cabinets. So, but
very cool.
But yeah, no, I love to write. I love it. I have loved it since I was 15, and it has kept me very, very young now at 6,011 years old.
Greg, so can you give me any more insight on that article that got the ball rolling here, the Galactica article? Is that coming out? Did it come out? Where can we get it?
It's coming out in Black Infinity in October, and it's the issue which is the first contact. So all of the stories are stories about humans having first contact. And my editor and publisher, Tom English, thought this would be a great opportunity to do, Battlestar Galactica Classic proud. So that was.
And oh boy, we
got
Sorry, Greg, you froze for like one split second. It was Cylon sabotage. So you were going to say
it was colonial inadequacy.
No, it was not. Anyway, the point. Yeah, you were telling us.
I actually believe that, Daddy Drivel.
You were in the process of telling us about the article, and it's being published, and it's coming out in October, and more or less there was a freeze.
Okay, so the next issue of Black Infinity, which this Galactica love letter is in, is called, it's the first contact issue. So it is humanity, meeting alien races. And my publisher, Tom English, thought this would be the ideal time to do an homage to Galactica. And so, so I wrote that story using a lot of fantastic material that I got from Richard Hatch. Glenn Larson was talking about that fantastic scene that haunted me for years in War of the Gods at the end when they look inside the downed spaceship and what was in there, and everybody knows what was in there now. But of course, he was talking about um, the flack that they got. They wouldn't let them film it, and it was in the script. And he said we may have filmed it, we might have filmed it, but they raised such a ruckus. So it was so interesting to look over all of that source material from 20 and nearly 30 years ago, talking about memories Richard Hatch had of stepping onto that stage, and the absolute love he had for that show and franchise and his hope for its future, at the time before the Ron Moore reboot. I'm sorry, reimagining.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
There's a lot of love, which is something that I have deep within me all these years. 42 years later? No, 44 years later. For the original show. I mean, I remember being 13 years old, and that stunning opening with seeing the fleet. I mean, like that stuff is imprinted on my psyche and always will be. I was just watching the other day the scene where Galactica tackles the Cylon base star in the Hand of God, that battle scene, and how beautiful it is. And I'm like, my God, that stuff has been with me now for all these years, and I hope it's with me for the rest of my life and my afterlife, because I'm planning on haunting this house after I croak.
Greg, John, our very own John, wants to know, what is your favorite sci-fi genre to write about?
Well, I just turned in, funnily enough, the one that sold today it's a combat science fiction story set in my universe that leads off the first two stories of this book that's coming out in the autumn that I've written, called The Solar System. And I sort of I mean, like when I think back to the beginning, I was writing a lot of that. And I don't do it as much now, but I mean, when I do it, I absolutely love it. I just love writing a story, whether it's science fiction, horror, mystery, romance, mainstream, Western. I used to hate Westerns, and then I wrote 3 Westerns and sold them all and fell in love with the genre. I just love good story, and I love, I live my stories. I don't just commit them to paper. I'm living them while I'm writing them. But I have a real soft spot, especially in this horrific world climate where humanity rises to the challenge and listens to its better angels. I love that. In the story that I sold today, the crew of this ship sacrificed themselves to save innocents, and I felt so bad killing them, but they had to die. They had to die. There was no way around it.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yes. So sometimes I guess the characters, they just take on a life of their own, and I guess it becomes difficult to, do what needs to be done for the greater, good of the story and where the plot's going. But that just makes it that much better. That you have something that is that good that you're like reluctant to do away with them. That's admirable. So Greg, tell us.
I was just going to say, one of my friends has this god-awful fear of dementia. And he's like, I'm going to be walking around the house thinking I'm living in one of my stories. And I'm like, oh my God, bring it on. What a way to go. I'm sorry.
Well, my solution for dementia is going to be, I'm going to buy a Bluetooth headset.
There you go.
That way I can talk to myself and nobody knows the difference.
Greg, what do you do conventions?
I've actually done a bunch of things. I coming up a week from this coming Saturday, one of my stories is a finalist in the Roswell Awards, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's excellence in short science fiction writing, and what's so cool is they're performed by classic known science fiction actors. I won an honorable mention in 2016, and I was on stage with Dee Wallace from E.T., and that was overwhelming. So I'm one of 5 finalists this year, and I don't know who's performing, but I mean, how fantastic It could be,
Oh,
it
yeah,
could be
wow.
anybody. It could be anybody that we love and would know the names. So I actually flew out there to attend the Roswells in 2016. I don't travel as much anymore because of the pandemic, and again, I've got this gargantuan rescue cat who's part saber-toothed tiger, and she has abandonment issues. She does not like to be left alone. I take the garbage down to the curb with the recycling, and she's going from window to window, in a blind panic, and I'm outside of the house for 3 minutes.
The
So I
person who
don't
feeds
travel
me
as
has
much.
left.
But I mean, I have done some really incredible ones. Which, if you don't mind, I could tell you about Richard Hatch again,
Sure.
who
Please
had
do.
been in the
Absolutely.
90s, had been such a great source and such a gentleman and so giving and kind and with his time. And so we did the science fiction convention in 2000 in New York City, and it was so bizarre. I had one of those paradox moments because we all went to dinner. Richard Hatch, myself, several of the other guests. We went to dinner at this bizarre restaurant called Mars. Have you guys ever heard of this?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so you have to ride a rocket ship to get to the restaurant, and then there's like people in aliens in cages dancing, like 3 stories overhead.
Where the
It
heck
was
is
so
this at?
surreal. It's
It
in
doesn't
New York
exist
City.
anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore?
Well,
No, not
Ah.
anymore.
well, I was
All the good
sitting
stuff goes
there
away.
after this, this convention, after we had gone out to dinner, and of course, so Richard Hatch knew me, because we had, worked together, for all this stuff for the Sci Fi Channel, and I interviewed him about the novels that he wrote, the Galactica novels, Armageddon and Warhawk.
Yeah, we're
But
actually reviewing
we were
those.
sitting there. Well, I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting in a restaurant in New York City, across from Richard Hatch. And it was like one of those moments. It was like Cindy Brady, in front of the camera, where everything just like, I went blank. I was like, my God, is this real or is this something I've written? Something really neat that I would like to share with you, which I think you guys.
Or did that dementia
appreciate.
kick in?
It very well could be. I'm talking to you guys. You guys could be figments, for all I know. Like I said, after you wake up at 3 o'clock every morning to write, and you're writing all day. I mean, for all I know, there could be Cylons in the house. So one of the neat things I want to tell you about Richard Hatch, which was just so fantastic. So I went out to the set of Star Trek Voyager in 2001, to be on set. And by the way, what's really neat, Kate Mulgrew, when I first interviewed her for the Sci Fi Channel, she did a pediatric AIDS charity that she was very passionate about. And I donated all of the money from that article in her name to that. After that, she was always available. And she blurbed one of my books. One of my books has been blurbed by a Star Trek captain.
Wow.
And she was just so kind and just so lovely. But so I went out to the set, and Richard Hatch was like, why don't we get together? You can come to my house and I'll show you the trailer, which I had seen in New York City, but he offered to show it privately. And so again, in another one of those surreal moments, I'm in Hollywood Hills. I went to his house. He had purchased this house during the year he was on the streets of San Francisco. Beautiful little bungalow. It had the most enormous cactus growing in the front yard. It was the size of an oak tree. And covered with thorns. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I hope this thing doesn't fall down. It was so big, it had grown almost right to the side of the house. But so then, there's Richard Hatch pouring wine, and we're watching the Battlestar Galactica trailer that he made. And I'm in his house, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, this is just so surreal and so fantastic that, I'm like, if I stroke and die right now, I can completely understand why, So I have traveled far and wide for writing and writing adventures. I just don't do it as much anymore, because I've got everything I need in this house. And then I've got, the gigantic, Taskmaster who likes things done. Yeah, she likes things done to her schedule. And, she's an Egyptian deity. They deserve to have their needs attended to by loyal servants.
There you go.
Oh boy,
what kind of cat is it?
Really...
Is it like one of the large ones, or is it just regular?
No, she's just, she's a fatty 2x4. She,
Okay.
I mean, she's a rescue cat. She was abused before she came here, and now she's completely happy to have me attend to her every need. We're having a novel release party on Saturday here for a book that I've written. That's kind of a science fiction novel that's coming out. And there's going to be 25 people, including the publisher. And what she will do is she will plunk herself like a beached whale in my front foyer, and she will make people navigate around her. And she's like, "This is my house. You walk around me." And she's just here for a million, trillion, zillion, gajillion bucks.
Outstanding. By the way, hello, Brigitte from Austria is live with us, one of our regular followers, listeners, supporters. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the beers that we had tonight. Really appreciate it. And we're here with Greg Norris, American author that writes all kinds of sci-fi mostly, but horror as well. So let me throw out a name, a character, and see what your reaction is, Greg. Carl Kolchak, the Night Stalker.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. First of all, Guten Abend, Brigitte. Wie geht's? So Black Infinity just did a horror issue, and I have a story in there, and it's alongside a reprint by Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho. I mean, how cool is that? But for that issue, he had me do a retrospective on Kolchak the Night Stalker. I mean, I grew up watching that show 10 o'clock Friday nights when I should have been in bed. Scared the bejeebus out of me. Loved it. To this day, it runs on MeTV here, and I've seen every episode a million times. I DVR them every week. So,
actually,
I love that show.
If you take a quick look, if Chris brings me back up side by side, you can see behind me there is a framed picture of Carl and
holding the crucifix.
Yeah, and right below that is an autograph. It's Darren McGavin, his autograph on that. You know what? Then let me share this with you, Greg. Today's your birthday. My birthday's coming up, and the Tipsy Toaster got me this shirt.
Oh, you two are just too cool for school. I love it. I'm wearing Edgar Allan Poe right now.
Oh, there you go.
Nevermore.
Outstanding. Oh yeah.
Very
Nevermore.
cool. Very cool.
Oh, that's fantastic. So Greg, we were really, really happy that you took the time out, especially on your birthday. So as they say
so much fun.
In Greece, they say Chronia Pola, many years to you. All the best. We hope that you can come back. We would love to have you
anytime.
come back. This was really, really cool. And you're a prolific writer, so I can imagine that whether you come back a month from now, a week from now, whenever it is, you're going to have more stuff
to
tell
Pete,
us.
we had one more question I think we need to answer.
Oh, let's do it. Where is it? What
Oops,
do you see that I don't see?
It
What is
is.
it? Where?
Let me find it.
Go.
It was from.
I'm looking for it. Where is it?
There it is.
You got it?
Hang on.
Oh, you
Ready?
let it go?
There it goes. Are there any Easter eggs in the Buffy series that you wrote? You wrote a book on the Buffy series. What's the greatest Easter eggs?
Oh, geez, you really got me stumped again. Like I said, my gray matter is dead from the scalp down. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that one because I don't think that was so long ago when I did that book. I'd have to go and pick out the copy to do it.
Way to go, John. Pick the hard questions, why don't you?
I mean, yeah, that was so long ago, and it just, I haven't retained that in my gray matter. And like I said, there isn't, much as far as the brain cells they're misfiring right now anyways.
But at least we got the fact that you did write one of those. Greg,
Yes.
You're getting a slew of happy birthday wishes from those who are watching live. So John and Brigitte and Paul and everybody else that's up, they're all sending you the best for your birthday today. Really, really cool. Thank you again for taking the time out and sharing your day with us. We're really, really happy that that we met, and we definitely want you to come back. So
anytime. This was delightful, and thank you. Talk about a great birthday gift. This is how the day
oh
ends.
well, is the pleasure is ours. Thank you so much, and let's stay in touch. We want to definitely, we have our own projects going on, and so we definitely would like to, have you back. And as a matter of fact, the books, there's some of your books that are being released. Anything else that comes up, Chris, why don't you bring up that the website? There you go. We have I think that's Soul System. Is that what that is?
The solar system, yeah. That's
Solar System.
the solar system. Which with a dedication to Battlestar Galactica on the dedication page.
We love it. We love it even more. So yeah, this is available on Amazon if I'm not mistaken.
It hasn't been released yet. It went to the printers today. It's going to be released in the autumn.
Okay. And will it be then on Amazon?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. And so then the other thing would be later in the year, you did say that probably, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, that in October, the Battlestar Galactica article will be published in that upcoming book.
Black Infinity magazine. Yeah.
No, maybe we, maybe you can carve out some time for us when it comes out, and we can have you back and do some Galactica.
Absolutely, and I'll answer that Buffy question with a copy of the book in hand.
There you go.
I hate leaving anything unattended. So
all right, that works. That works.
And there you go. There's Black Infinity. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Well.
Well, Pete, you're a credit to the uniform. And you Cylons, you're a credit to the Imperious leader.
I will let the Imperious leader know that you approve. And maybe we will just enslave you and not slaughter you.
Just let me write.
Happy birthday, Greg. All the best,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
You so much.
We appreciate you fueling the fleet and keeping the fandoms going with your writing. So here's to you. Thank you for fueling the fleet, sir.
To you, Greg.
And in one of those big colonial warrior handshakes that go halfway up the arms to both of you.
That's right. The wrist grab.
Have a great night, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You too. Happy birthday, Greg. Oh man, that's so cool. Greg is going to be coming
creating.
back. We're going to bring him back. We are bringing him back. What a great guy. And like he was saying, how things happen and how the mystery of the universe and the paradoxes and stuff. So I was a big reader of the Sci Fi magazine. I actually enjoyed that magazine a lot. I have them. So next time he comes on, I'm going to actually pull out my Sci Fi magazine collection and, bust those out and share those with you, being that we connected. So very, very cool. Looking forward to his Galactica article that's coming out in that book coming up in October. Plus that whole other new trilogy. I mean, he's like he said himself, he's prolific. I'd read some stuff.
He does it for a living.
Yes, he is a professional writer.
This isn't a hobby.
Yeah. No, not like us. Yes, yeah. No, he is a professional writer, and he came on his birthday. So, I mean, that's pretty cool in my book, in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did. Yeah, Greg, today's your birthday, but it's like we got the present. Thanks for a great interview. That's from Mediocre Modeler. Well said, Mediocre Modeler. Thank you for bringing that up. And Brigitte, thank you so much for, coming on and sharing your time as well. In Austria, it's like, probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. So we appreciate you as well. And Fran, of course, we'll be seeing you very soon at the convention. We're still trying to, iron out some of the details, but we're gonna have a good time nonetheless. We're gonna bring you all kinds of interviews, live stuff like we usually do from the cons and the panel guys. So we got a really good panel coming up. So we're looking forward to that because it's not just Chris and I, right, doing this.
Right.
What is it? What is that? What is it? Wait, stop. What do you do?
Right.
I'm talking about the panel.
Chair.
I'm talking about the convention. And what is it that Who did you enslave on your microphone? What is that?
Oh, that's not enslaved. Those are the people that are going to enslave you. That's Lucifer and that's Lucifer and the Imperious Leader.
So, for those of you that didn't see our previous, there's a couple going back a couple of episodes of our show. I inspired Chris to go buy those figures that come in a package, a set. So Chris went and bought it, right? He ripped himself to pieces to go get one of those. And now what he did was he found a loose set. I can't imagine how much he paid for those. That's Baltar.
Yes.
And so now he's showing off that he has extras so that he can just parade around those very weird
Don't make me.
figures. Uh-oh. Don't make me stick you with the little knife. What's the matter with you? Look at that. The only time they get to use the bayonet, you're going to use it on me or our fans, our followers and listeners. What's the matter with you? Oh boy! So for you,
I guess we could do it. We could cross the streams. Ready? I have.
Okay, that's the president. You need to. What are you doing? What is that?
Slicing the throat.
Oh boy! Slicing. Oh man! All right.
That's crossing the streams, though.
See that what happens when you have too much fun and too many crazy zany ideas.
I'll have way too much fun.
So typically, just so everybody knows, the Tipsy Toaster Chris usually has a Daggett. He has Muffet on his microphone. But for today, since we had Greg Norris on and he's a Galactica guy, Chris went and put the Imperious Leader and Lucifer around his microphone. And yeah, okay. You enjoy that there, crazy man.
Well, that's better than, I could do that.
Oh, God. All right, you're turning my stomach now. That's an all-time low. John Van Gostein says he's using the sword. The only time he gets to use the sword is when, Chris busts out his little. What are those called? What was the company that made those?
Mini-Mates.
Mini-Mates, that's right. Yeah, got that set too. They are cute. Yes, they are. Brigitte got that too. That's cool. Yeah.
Actually, I can reenact the scene. Ready? It's like, Baltar, we have no use for you anymore. And I can take his head off. There we go.
Now that you broke it, now that serves you right for taking his head off. I just had a flashback of Tim Conway and the little Hitler interrogation. Yeah, Paul says boo. Yeah, that's right. Boo the Cylons and that creepy. I don't know where he's going with that, but anyway, that's why he's the Tipsy Toaster. So
they have silver and gold though. Now I'll get the song stuck in my head.
Yeah, there you go.
Silver and gold.
Oh boy. All right. Put the action figures away. Right?
At least you call them action figures, not dolls.
Well, they're not dolls. This is what I picked up this week. I every once in a while I try to go back and finish up my collection from the original series, the TOS Star Trek. A limited edition autograph card has been personally signed by David Frankham as Larry Marvick in Is There in Truth No Beauty? Great episode. Got that to add to my collection.
I don't remember that episode at all.
It's a good episode. You guys have to go back and watch, especially now that Strange New Worlds is out. It's a good excuse to try to catch up with, Kirk's brother Sam actually dies in one of the original episodes, and William Shatner actually stands in for that shot the scene. When they find, they go to this world and they go to this Federation colony that's been overwhelmed by these creatures, and the family, his brother's dead, and so William Shatner stands in. They put a mustache on him and fix him up so that he plays the part of his brother, who is now a science officer under Spock in the Strange New World. So there's a lot of Easter eggs. So good excuse to go back and watch the classic Trek, which I am doing. I'm going back, and there's of course two versions, right? So the classic Trek, there's two versions. There's the upgraded one that has all the new digital special effects. And then, of course, you can go back and just watch it the way it was originally broadcast. So we all get choices. Yeah,
I think a friend
cool.
of mine had he got a brand new TV with a couple of years ago with the 4K or whatever else, and I was it upscales some of the stuff that you watch, and I was watching a Star Trek episode. It was the one where it's one of the popular ones where he has to Spock has to rebuild the radio and they can't interfere, and he saves the girl
on the edge of forever.
That's it.
Yep, that's right.
And it was that one, and there's a scene in there where they're sitting at a table in a soup kitchen, and you can see the scratches on the table. I mean,
oh really?
I mean, you're like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. But then again, you also see how bad the lighting was compared to what it is nowadays. So,
well, but it depends on the scene, Chris, because they are famous for lighting techniques that they did. Some of that specialized lighting where it's only like his face, and that some of that stuff is some classic techniques that were developed by them on that show. So which BSG would get the Star Trek Special Edition treatments? Yes, that there is a release. It's a double set Blu-ray of the Buck Rogers movie.
I had the Buck Rogers Blu-ray. Yep.
And Battlestar Galactica. It's a new double release that's coming out on Blu-ray. I believe it's out now. So if
I don't think it's 4K.
I don't know if it's 4K, but I just saw that it's being released. That would be kind of cool.
We'll find out. We'll see if we find out. We'll post it on the site, because if it's 4K, I'm all over it. But I know they did the HD upgrade for Battlestar Galactica and did the widescreen thing, and that's the red edition. I believe it's the Blu-ray, and you see the red cover.
I'm just typing up a real quick thank you to Greg Norris, author, for coming on and taking time out on his birthday and sharing his time and his insights with us. We had a really good time with that. I'm glad that he was able to do that.
Happy Nova Yarn to you.
That's right. We should have done that. We should have actually sang him happy birthday. We didn't do that.
Happy Nova Yarn to you. Nova Yarn is New Year. So.
Nova Yarn New Year. No, so it's time out on your birthday. So, Greg, thank you so much. Happy birthday to you. Many years to you. All the best, and we're definitely going to have you back on your B-Day. So I just want to memorialize this. Boom, put that out. And Paul Roeder, a.k.a. Commander Kane, let me see how he put it. He'd actually put it out. How did you... Happy Nova Cycle, Greg. That's how Paul says it. So, Happy Nova Cycle. How's that? Nova Cycle. That's it. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I went back to check the chat.
New cycle.
Nova Cycle. Yeah, Nova Cycle.
Nova is new.
Yeah.
It can be new. Is it like, I don't know.
I like that. I like it. Nova Cycle. Happy Nova Cycle. And of course,
sounds like a type of motorcycle.
Well, it's not, so get over it. And here is Armageddon. Greg,
yes, you ready to go to that?
It, and so we have that. I'm not sure, Chris, if you wanted to actually do. Were you prepared to do a comic book or not? Or
yes. Well, I don't know. Am I ready to do a comic book or not? I might be able to.
Oh, look at that. Yes, don't be humble.
That's an awesome picture too, by the way. It's beautiful.
A day is a cycle. A day is a cycle, not motorcycle. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris.
But a day is a cycle. But new cycle that's not. Nova is
cycle.
new. It's a new day.
New day.
What's a birth? What's birth in colonial standard?
All right, guys, challenge. It's a challenge. Let's see if we can come up with this.
What's Earth and colonial standard. We need to know what that is.
Yeah. Listen, we got the book, we got the comic book, and so there is fresh new Galactica writing, or at least it's something that's that's been created as a retrospect from a different perspective, but somebody who's a fan like us. Looking forward to that Greg Norris's Galactica article. I'm definitely going to jump in on that. We're going to have him come back. I'm going to pick that up and see if I would try to pre-order it, but you couldn't. I did look.
What if it'll be an audiobook?
No, sir, it's not. Yeah.
I just bought 3 new audio credits because I ran out. So.
Oh yeah, I went and I got
through.
the whole. Yeah, you've got me hooked on it. So I'm I'm going through the Warhammer 40K books like there's no tomorrow. I just finished another one today, so I'll be starting another one tomorrow. Thanks, Chris. Another expense.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just finished American Assassin. It was a movie, but the book was really good.
I read the book. I actually read the physical book. Yeah, it was, one of the guys at work made me. He's like, listen. We were talking about our top 10 books of all time. He brought it in. He said, "You have to read it, and you will not regret it." And so I exchanged the book with him. And forgot to ask Greg, who currently has publishing rights for BSG? Sean, that would have been a hell of a question.
Oh, we'll reach out to him, find out. We'll put it on the thing.
Happy Nova Gestation Day. What do you think of that? Happy Nova Gestation Day, Mediocre Modeler.
Better yet, Conception Day.
Oh, I think that might be
Happy Conception Cycle.
Happy Conception Cycle. Oh boy, I think that might be it.
We're gonna coin a new phrase.
Yes, Happy Conception.
Hashtag Conception Cycle.
Happy Conception Cycle. Oh boy! All right.
And then I guess for an anniversary, it would be what? Anniversary would be
Happy Nova Gestation Day.
Well, it's new. It's not new.
Nova. New Gestation Day.
It's not a new gestation.
Happy birthday. Yeah. So happy
Conception Cycle.
Okay. Happy birthday. Okay. Happy Gestation Day. Is that what you're talking about? What are you talking about now?
Cycle. Gestation. Is it a gestation or conception?
Happy gestation cycle.
I like conception better. Conception cycle.
I don't know. This is open to debate. This is all about semantics now.
What would be anniversary, though? If you were married, you are sealed, so happy sealed cycle?
Happy seal cycle? Gestation pregnant day. Gestation pregnant day. Thanks, Lola. All right. So let's get to the comic book.
Sure. Give me a second. I will bring it up.
All right. So you're going to the overhead camera at your over to the left or right of you. You have a little setup there. And Journey's End. And so you guys are aware that we haven't had a chance to, we've had some guests on and we haven't hit the comic book in a bit, but here it is.
Check.
We're bringing it back. Cash. It's Maximum Press, Battlestar Galactica's Journey's End. Not much. I'm not sure what the reception was with this line of comic books. The artwork is very unique. Everybody kind of, we talk about it.
Steampunkish.
Talk about how steampunkish. The characters look like they're on steroids. It's different. It's not our classic 1978 Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, Lucifer looks like a lipstick tube.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little weird, but it's still fun, and it's still Battlestar Galactica. It's still in the world of the original, and Conception Day, make it a rated R, brown dagged brown cow.
Brown dagged brown cow. Brown dagged brown cow.
Thank you, MM. Okay, so without
I got a new words for my vocabulary now.
Yes, and by the way, Chris, on my end, you're peaking on the sound bar. So
all right, let me turn you down. You're not my type.
Turn yourself down.
Turn you down. You're not my type.
Turn yourself
Better?
down.
Better?
Yeah,
Better?
better. Yep. Yes, better. All right. So,
we'll go ahead and kick this off. This is Maximum Press. This is the last of the series. There was Battlestar Galactica, Battlestar Galactica Starbuck, I might not be going in order. Battlestar Galactica Starbuck, Battlestar Galactica Apollo's Journey, Battlestar Galactica The Enemy Within, and now we are at the last set of Maximum Press Battlestar Galactica comic books, and it is called Journey's End, appropriately titled. Real quick, if you don't remember the last ones, I'm going to read through the story so far. And this is this is kind of interesting because it's not a shiny paper anymore. I guess they went cheaper. The other ones kind of had a shinier, a glossy paper to it. This is kind of the regular newsprint. So give me a couple minutes here. This is wildest story so far. While the Cylons journey to Earth to complete the extermination of the human race,
oh God,
what?
I don't appreciate that. I know you're enjoying saying that.
Yes. Now I have to go back and say it again. While the Cylons journey to Earth to complete the extermination of the human race, the Borrelian Nomen were about to be released after 20 years of captivity. While Count Iblis appeared to them, the Nomen agreed to join him and the Cylons, which is amazing. Although would have to kill them later on because they're still somewhat human. Meanwhile, Apollo was also visited by Iblis, who urged the Battlestar Galactica commander to yield to the dark side. Dun dun dun. Where'd that come from, I wonder? Weakened by his encounter with Iblis, Apollo snapped and declared a state of martial law. When the council rejected his proposal, proposal to evacuate the Earth, Commander Kane confronted Apollo, and the ensuing scuffle, Apollo shot the living legend and was arrested. That was amazing, by the way, if you didn't go back and rewatch that if you want to. While the Nomen prepared to seize control over the Galactica, Apollo was visited by the spirit of his late wife, Serena. She told him that she had the power within him to defeat Iblis once and for all. I doubt it. Anyways, realizing his destiny, Apollo escaped as the Nomen took control of the Galactica. Did you hear that? The Nomen took over the Galactica. It was another amazing show, by the way. You have to check that one out, too. In space, Apollo was captured by Iblis, who sent him to Earth to secure Adama's amulet, the key to controlling the great power of Adam's Ark. Adam's Ark is the 13th tribe kind of pyramid, double-sided. So you have one on top and one on the bottom. Apollo took Adama's amulet, but instead of giving it to Iblis, which he should have done...
Oh, stop yelling.
He used to awaken his own I always say this wrong. Kobolian powers and battle Iblis. After forcing Iblis to run, Apollo used the amulet to help quell the Nomen uprising and save the life of Commander Kane. Boo.
Come on.
That's kind of where we're at now. So this is it starts a new story. So actually we're on the Battlestar Galactica. They're still circling the Earth. And of course down at the Earth's surface is still Adam and Eve, who are two of the 13th tribe's people that were in suspended animation inside of this huge double pyramid, is the best way I can say it. It looks like a big diamond. So they're circling around, and he's talking about pretty much the similar stuff that the story so far. Also, it's kind of funny that he talks about the hand of God, which is if you watch the last episode of Battlestar Galactica, they call it the hand of God, which was a celestial dome. And in here they mention that the celestial dome was destroyed, but him being the commander had the ability to have someone rebuild it. So they rebuilt it, and of course it looks much bigger, by the way. And so he's sitting there at the celestial dome. He's doing the recall of the Adam and Eve, and there's the Ark that they had. And while he's sitting there thinking about all this, he's like, wait a minute, there's a star out there. I've never seen that star before. I've charted all these stars before. I don't know what that star is. And he gets closer. Wait a minute, it's not a nova. Not a nova yarn either. But it's coming towards us. By the Lords of Cobalt, I recognize the sound. It's the I'm gonna butcher. I always butcher the seraph. So the Seraphs. So if you remember the Seraphs from the regular show, they're back into the comics just as well. So the Seraphs come and say, and I love the way they do this because Iblis is kind of the speech bubbles are kind of like evil looking, and the Seraphs' speech bubbles are kind of, I don't know, light looking, I guess is the easy way of saying it. So the Seraph comes down and he calls himself Elias, and he mentions back, and I love the way they do this. If you look down at the bottom here, it's kind of hard to see, but if you go through this book, they also asterisk saying, oh yeah, check out the episode whatever in Battlestar Galactica. So they love to reference back to things, and it's really cool. So he's like, hey, the Cylons are coming. They're bringing, I love this. I got to make sure I get the right numbers here. He's like, hey, the only time we see you is when something bad's going to happen. And, of course, Elias is like, yep, something bad's going to happen. And so I'm afraid that something as bad is going to happen. It's the Cylons. He says, oh, yeah, of course it's the Cylons, because the Cylons are awesome.
Because they're bad.
Oh, wait a minute, that's not what he said. But anyways, I added that in. So he says an expeditionary force of nearly 100 base ships will arrive shortly. That's awesome. And they're going to destroy Earth, and they're going to destroy everybody, and you need to go away. You need to run. And, of course, Apollo's already had some problems previously with the Council trying to convince them of things. And, of course, he did shoot Commander Kane, which was awesome. But it was Iblis that kind of made him do it. So he's like, they're not going to believe me. And he says, well, okay, I'll appear before them. So there they are, and he goes up before them and says, hey, guys, we need to leave. And they're like, nah, we'll stay and fight. And Apollo's like, you're idiots. So it says, Adam, everybody, we need to leave. And finally the Seraph will show up to him and say, hey, you guys need to leave. But Adam and Eve can't leave for some reason. They are, they made a promise to the 13th tribe that they will not leave Earth. So therefore, the rest of the people are looking to run away. Of course, Commander Kane is like, no, we should stand and fight. Just like all the times Commander Kane talks. He is the loose cannon.
That's right.
He's the loose cannon.
Yep. No, he's not.
So, yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He's the danger to all of them, by the way. So,
he is number one.
They finally convince everybody. They says, hey, okay, we're going to leave. But Adam still says, I can't leave. So he says, you need to flee. Elias, the being of light, says, you need to leave this world forever. And like, no, we're going to come back later on. Meanwhile, we get back to Baltar. Now, Baltar in the last couple of ones had been demoted, and Lucifer was put in charge of him. But since the failure of the attack last time, Lucifer, this upsets me, by the way.
All right, what
Lucifer has been deprogrammed.
Oh.
So Lucifer is no longer in the picture, and they put Baltar back in charge of the assault. And he's like, by your command, Imperious Leader, I'm going to take care of this. And so they're coming to get the humans at Earth. So they start the evacuation process, and everything's going pretty good. And then that's pretty much all this page does. Good luck charm. You said at the end of this piece of it, they're like, we sure wish we had a good luck charm. They're like, a good luck charm? Who's that? Well, that would be Starbuck. Well, the problem is Starbuck is dead. Well, that's what they think. Of course, Starbuck is alive. What else is new? Anyways, right. Starbuck can never die for some reason. I don't know why. It's part of the script writing thing.
It's not your problem.
Anyways, so Starbuck, in one of the previous comics, was in a fight with a superior Cylon and was losing. So he wrestled the Cylon into an escape pod. They launched the escape pod, and they figured that Starbuck was dead. They couldn't find him. But he's not. He's on the planet Starbuck. Imagine that. It kind of rings true in 1980. Mm-hmm. So he's on planet Starbuck. There's 2 suns, which rings true to 1980, by the way. And so fracking hot, which rings true to 1980. And there's very little water. And he talks about how the Ares, which was the Cylon in disguise, it was he was supposed to look like a member of the 13th tribe. Ares was killed on the impact, so sucks to be him. But Starbuck survived, and so Starbuck is like remembering Cassie, and he's like, Cassie, I wonder if Cassie would like to have been here. And he's like, nah, Cassie wouldn't have liked to camp out or anything like that now. But on the other hand, Athena, she was a strong girl. She would love to come, or strong woman, sorry. She would love to come here. And then says, he's reminiscing. Meanwhile, back on planet Earth, what a great photo this is. A great drawing, I'm sorry. Look at all of those base stars.
Oh my God. Get over it.
That's amazing.
Get over it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Purple coming in, all those base stars. And of course, this is where a fight comes into place because they did not get out of there in time when they should have, and they didn't. Typical colonials always fail to plan.
Oh, God.
So Baltar is extremely happy that they're still there, and he starts to fight. Now, remember, in the past comics, the Battlestar Pegasus has a special cannon/gun. It's like a rail gun installed on it, where the Galactica does not have that. But it takes some time to put it together. Now, Kane is still injured. He's on board the Galactica. And so the Tolan is the person running the fight inside or on the Battlestar Pegasus. So here we go. The fight begins. Lots of good death and horror and explosions. And they blow up one of the many base stars, which is okay. Just one. Anyways, so they're talking about we need to get escape. And of course, the Cylons, I love the nice picture here, by the way. Cylons are battling and they're winning. And of course, they have, I love the Commander Baltar, Pegasus Death Group on final approach. They are targeting Prime Cannon and the command module. So, really cool picture here where the Pegasus is getting pounded, which is nice. It's a beautiful picture.
No.
Look at all the orange and the explosions. It's beautiful. Anyways, so they're getting pounded, and of course, Adam's Ark is down there at the bottom, which once again is kind of funny. They say Adam's Ark, which is the actual name of Battlestar Galactica before it became Battlestar Galactica.
Yes, it's true. Little homage,
yeah,
Easter egg.
Little homage, Easter eggs. So, they're down on the planet still. They're not leaving, and then they're like, they're losing the battle, and then there's lots of civilian things are being blown up, and Adam's Ark gets torched. Pegasus is getting torched, and they're like, and the Galactica's engines are damaged, and finally Elias shows up and says, "Hey, look, I wasn't able to help you before, but I may be able to get just the Galactica out of here." So he helps teleport the Galactica out of there with the new engines that they have installed, and they arrive and they look at this, and they've got these weird looking ships here, and they're like, "Wait a minute, those aren't Cylon ships." It says, "Right, they're Eastern. They look like Eastern Alliance battle cruisers." And it says, Elias says, where did you take us? And Elias, this is the ending. Elias says, "In a place where you might finally be safe. your own future. And of course,
Oh boy.
Apollo's like, the future? Dun dun dun, to be continued.
Oh boy.
So, this one was not written by Richard Hatch. The other ones were Richard. This was the other series that we just got finished with. Apollo's Journey was written by Richard Hatch. These are all back to Rob Liefeld. So
Interesting. Well,
and there are 4 of these. So we have 1, and then we'll get the other ones here shortly. So
1 through 4. Yeah.
1.
Cool.
There's
Very cool.
2, 3, which 2 and 3 look so much alike I couldn't help it. And then of course 4. So
okay, cool.
We'll be covering those in another episode.
One at a time, of course.
Yep, of course.
Yeah. And Rob Baum is with us. Thank you for joining us, Rob. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you coming on. All right, so we just finished Battlestar Galactica's Journey's End, Maximum Press. This is one of a series of 4. And, yeah, good stuff. Battlestar Bulletin Board, Sean Shallow's group on Facebook. He was writing up some comments, and we went back and forth a little bit, Chris, while you were narrating. So Rob Liefeld is a big fan of Battlestar Galactica, and we're glad that we got this. I unfortunately, honestly, I ignored this when it first came out because I could not understand it. I didn't know what this was about. The art was a little, it was unique.
You didn't like it because it had the Galactica or the Pegasus blowing up on the front cover.
No. So I'm glad that we got.
Think about having that tattooed on my shoulder
now. Oh boy, I'm surprised your sailor should have all those tattoos. But anyway, yeah, right. So anyway, I'm glad that we got a chance to do this now. And then of course we had done a quick little autograph and 3-minute little quick talk with Mr. Liefeld at the last New York Comic Con, and he'd promised that he would come on the show because of our Galactica angle. So we're going to keep him to it, Mr. Liefeld. If you ever get to hear this,
we may have to wait a year to go back to New York Comic Con, but we'll wrestle him at his booth this time.
Oh yes,
instead of letting him tell us, hey, just reach out to me on social media.
Yeah, and we'll get back to you, which we did, and he did not. So it's probably not just getting to him.
I don't want to say I don't want to say the word like ghosted. But anyways,
no, I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. But this time, if he's at New York Comic Con this year, which we will be attending, maybe we'll be lucky enough to get.
I'm sure he's a busy man, so that's probably.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on.
We got it.
Yeah. Rob says, wish I'd gotten Hatch to sign my comic books. Yeah, don't we all? I'm sure some of you probably had them, but I did not get a chance to do that. I do have his autograph on the TV guide cover, the one that we all know, where it's Adama, and it's kind of weird.
It's
weirdish, purplish.
It's not a picture, but a drawing or a painting.
Yeah. So I have that framed with Richard Hatch's autograph on that. But hey, we had Greg Norris on, and it was his birthday, which is very, very cool. I just keep thinking in the back of my head, to be honest, and share with all you guys, is if it was
his conception cycle.
Yes, it's the happy natal day, as Fran put together for us. I don't know if that I guess I would, depending on who it was. I would join on my birthday, but I mean, it's not a typical thing that you do on your birthday, and he did it for us. So we are humbled and appreciative, and we definitely going to have him back, which is very cool. Really enjoyed the interview with Greg Norris, and that was fun. So
looking forward to seeing some of his some of the Battlestar stuff he's coming out with, and as well as the other things he was talking about too. So
he's got a ton. I'm gonna dig up his Sci Fi magazine stuff. However, this now is Armageddon time.
Dun, dun, dun.
We didn't get a chance to do this. We had our previous show. We had Von Babison on.
We had the most amazing Von Babison on. He's going to come on again for for the 40th anniversary of the Thing. So
yes, the Thing, a retrospect on the Thing, or revisiting the Thing. So he'll be coming on in June 23rd.
Yep.
June 23rd. Von Babison will be back. Remember that he told us he actually vacuum formed the armor for the Cylons. And so that's kind of cool.
So he's a Cylon creator. So does that make him a IL series, or is he a Imperious leader? He makes Cylons.
We don't know. We don't know. That's interesting. So he didn't program the Cylons. He just made their shells.
Well, I got to start. Well, we'll have to cover that next chapter in Armageddon, because it really gets deep into Cylons in the next chapter, but this chapter does not.
Right, but this is we're on chapter 13.
Yes.
And right, so I'm going to jump right in, Chris, into the chapter. And so you guys that have been following along, this book is a creation between Richard Hatch and Christopher Golden. And speaking of Christopher Golden, we are working hard to hammer down an interview with him. We are negotiating dates. So, Paul, I have to mention this, that you brought this up. I'm looking over at the chat, and it says that it's basically between Rob and Paul. Very rare autograph is Maren Jensen. Yeah, it's super rare. And, I don't think a lot of people have her autograph, just because it's just not out there. However, you guys, we would love to try to get, reach out to her. She's a little bit, she's retired from, the business and everything else.
I'm obsessed. I would love to.
My God.
I would be so.
Oh my God.
I would be it's always been the dream of mine for a very long time, is to talk to Maren. Even for just a minute or two. Yeah.
Well, you never know. You never know. I mean, it's possible.
I've got Maren over here. So.
Oh boy.
She stares at me.
Can of worms. I thought you weren't. I don't know. You stepped away for a second.
I stepped away for a second, but we're talking Maren. You just talked Maren. I had to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look. Exactly. Hang on. Let me pull up my. I don't know if I have my NDI here.
What do we do now? Gee whiz.
See what you did? Before we even got into the book, look what you did. It's all your fault.
Rob wants to know Maren. What the IL stands for. Some say it's Imperious Leader, but some others say that Industrial Light, that's an inside joke of some sort.
Yeah, so Industrial Light sound or something. And
Apocrypha stuff about that. Yes. So what oh my God, what are you going to pull up? I want to talk about the book, and you're going to talk about Maren Jensen.
You're right. You mentioned her. It's not my fault you mentioned her.
Oh boy, we made this crazy now. Go ahead, come on. Just get it done with. It's hang on.
Hang on.
It's your obsession.
I gotta start the NDI.
Hang on. Oh my God.
Start my NDI.
Oh no. What is it? What do you do? What are you going to pull up for everybody? Is it just like a picture? Sometimes there's some really good pictures posted on Facebook of Maren Jensen, Athena. Some of them are like the same, but every once in a while you'll get like an original one that creeps up, and it's like, interesting, very nice, very good, whatever. I always tag the Tipsy Toaster when I see those.
Oh yeah,
because I know that he gets a kick out of that, and if he doesn't, well, tough luck, because he's obsessed anyway. He can't help it. It's just the way he's been hardwired. But either pull it up now, or I want to get into the book. There, partner. Oh God. Yep.
See, there's the book. I was just reviewing.
All right. Well, it's not up,
and then there she is.
Nobody can see it. You're not broadcasting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
There's the book we were just reviewing. There's the microphone I was using, and then there she is, staring at me every day with that beautiful smile, and those dimples, and those beautiful blue eyes. Ugh.
Listen to me for a second. Carl Cullen Schmidt just put something up on the chat. I've never heard this before. He says that Rick Springfield has said the song Boys of Summer by Don Henley is about Marin when they were together.
Oh, could be. Yeah, I know they were together for a while.
I did not know that. That's very, very interesting.
I can just sit here the rest of the night just like this.
No, okay. Can we? All right. You know what?
Why not?
Let it go.
Oh.
Let's let it go for a little bit now. Let's get back to the book.
Oh
my God, his obsession. Oh boy. All right. Okay.
Or how about we see ourselves? There we go. There's a camera view of a camera view of a camera view.
Oh, forever and ever and on into infinity and beyond. Thanks, Carl, for that. Appreciate that. Replying to Robert Bound, some beautiful TV guide covers. 100%. There's a really, really good ones out there. I owned some of when Galactica was on. I actually cut some of those up, and I would take out the Galactic ads. I have a small type of like a scrapbook, which I will share one of these days, that I put together while Galactica was on, because obviously it was my favorite show. But yeah, there's covers with Lauren Green, and there's a lot of the actors and stars are in various covers of TV Guide. But so Chris, the book itself, going to chapter 13 of Armageddon, right? Battlestar Galactica Armageddon, opens basically with Dalton and Troy. Okay, so Dalton is the daughter of Starbuck and Cassiopeia. Right. Troy, of course, is Boxy. And they are investigating the murder.
Right, which happened a couple of 4 or 5 chapters back.
Correct. Yep. And so we're introduced in this chapter to other ships in the fleet. Details and things that we never got in the show.
Well, the Hephaestus was already in one of the other chapters.
Right. Now there is this new ship where some stuff takes place, and it's the Ursus, and that is the poor man's rising star, where the dregs of the fleet all converge. And to be honest, it makes sense, right? It makes sense that there would be a ship where the riffraff and the lower.
Unfortunately, 2004 had the same thing. They had a riffraff ship too. So
right, so it makes sense that the fleet would have somewhere, and so Dalton and Troy, they board that ship, right? And it's acknowledged, it's accepted that this is kind of like where the dregs go, so there's a place for them, and they're met by the captain of the Ursus. His name is Morgan. Right. And
Captain Morgan.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Turns out that Captain Morgan was
Captain Morgan.
That's right. Mm-hmm. He was an academy instructor and a warrior.
Yeah. To find out, he actually trained Starbuck.
And Apollo. Remember, because Apollo and Starbuck they were in the academy together. So that was interesting. Kind of cool that they brought that up. So they visit the pit, right? So the ship itself is where the dregs, this is the chapter, I'm quoting the chapter, where the dregs are of the fleet. And even in the ship itself, insult to injury, there is something called the pit. And that's where, I don't know, even the worst of the worst, but more importantly is that there is a cult operating. Right. And it kind of makes sense because, they kind of worship the pantheon, and they worship, there's all the different gods or whatever. So amongst their worship is the cult of the serpent. And the cult of the serpent is pulled from, it's straight out of ancient Greece, right? So there was the worship of serpents and stuff like that. So that's even Alexander the Great. What?
No snake handling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worship of the serpents, they had, As a matter of fact, Alexander the Great's mother was a high priestess of one of these cults. And their thing was the serpent, And I'll tell you, because this is all interlinked, there was a cult that operated, and they had a temple on the Acropolis in Athens where the Parthenon is. And that cult believed that this great, like a giant serpent, was the defender and protector of the Acropolis. And that if an enemy were to try to ever set foot on the Acropolis, that the serpent would come out of its den underneath the temple and devour all the enemies. Obviously, it didn't happen when the Persians invaded, but that was that was a belief. So this is where that comes from. This whole
well, I believe they were just Cylons because Cylons were reptilian. So
yeah,
that must have been.
Well, maybe, but
did you catch the name of the ship though? I mean, the Ursus. You know what Ursus is?
Yeah.
The bear.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're going to the bear, and they're going down all these different. So
the bear.
I love the there's a before they they show up here. The Captain Morgan is like, I don't want you here, and of course they give a little backstory. I kind of like the backstory in regards to Adama knew what a Feldercarb show this was, and how many it was just a crappy place in the fleet, and but he's ignored it, and Morgan has taken care of it, and so it's Morgan's domain. It's his area. It's his he takes care of everything that goes on there, and Adama has looked the other way during the time frame when he was alive. He's not alive anymore. I have to mention that every show just because it sounds good.
Oh my God, you're something wrong with you, man. I need to deprogram.
So they're talking to to Captain Morgan, and Captain Morgan's like, I don't want you here. And then they're like, oh yeah, so we're looking for this guy. We believe he knows something about the murder. He's like, wait a minute, he's not even a suspect, and you're here. We don't know why you're here. So Dalton is able to connect with him in regards to an audio, a back and forth verbal exchange, and she's able to connect with him a little bit because he turns around and it's funny that he goes, like, you remind me of your father. And she's like, oh, you knew my father? I said, yeah, I was trained him in flight school. So here we are with a captain who is not the best
ship.
Yeah, not the best ship to be running, but he's running the ship. So it makes you wonder why. I mean, what's the backstory on that? We don't get the backstory on that. Would be, maybe it's another book or something. But we, there's a
or later on.
So what's the backstory here on Captain Morgan? And we don't know.
Well, it does say that he it kind of suits him.
Yeah,
like he's tough.
He's
enough
rough
to
and tough, and he's
to run the ship.
He's
itself,
not the political correct person that.
No.
That I understand him.
Yeah, which is cool. However, when they get down to so when they finally make their way down, they don't know what to expect, and what they find is this cult.
Right. So they go down to the dregs, and one of the things when they get down there, to kind of give you an idea of how bad it is there. They talk about. So they're like, oh, welcome to the dregs, and they pop out, and they're really all, they're all nervous. This place is been talked about throughout the fleet about the worst, worst place in the world. The homeless. Yeah. There's people who are, what was the word? Drugs. Yeah. Under psychedelic. Yeah. They call it something else in the book. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
They're under the influence of psychedelics, I think is what they call it.
Mind-altering
psychedelics. So there's, people are, and then, in some parts it says you can't tell, when they walk by some people, you couldn't tell if they were a man or a woman because, they were just so unkempt and it just wasn't, they weren't very nice looking. And then Dalton comes across a woman who's like, oh, I need your help. Please help me and my baby. My baby needs help, and I need help. And Dalton's like, oh my gosh, this poor baby and everything else. So she gets in real close to this person. This person drops the baby and tries to stab her.
Well, it's not a baby.
It's not a baby. It was just a bundle of clothes.
Yep, bundle of clothes, and that's how that
kind of gives you
people are.
That gave you the idea, of how bad the environment was. They just tried to kill a colonial warrior just because.
Yeah, because mind you, they're in full uniform. They're investigating and they're armed.
Right.
And this person, this nut job tried to shank her. And then and that's when they get it deeper into this, and that's when they get to where the
and
cult
Morgan's
is.
a little nervous too. Morgan's like,
he's
this
big
is
time
not
nervous.
really what I want to do. We kind of have a unwritten agreement type thing that goes.
Yes, you don't go down there.
Yep.
And then they get in there, and at first I think, Chris, right, it seems like there's nobody there. Right when they get into the
temple, they break into the temple. They're like, oops, maybe we went into the wrong place because they're all sitting down and they're
it's
chanting
like,
type thing, and they're like, oops, they were expecting a little bit more of an attack. Standby that comes later.
That comes actually very quickly.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So they greet the guy. Oh, what's his name? Do you remember his name?
Yeah. No, I don't.
It was important to remember the name because the name is a Shakespearean name.
I'm looking for it.
Starts with an L, I think.
Oh my God, what was his name?
Anyways.
Not Tybalt. Tybalt cried, whirling to glare at Dalton. Madman stormed across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Tybalt.
that name is the same one they use for a crazy, inappropriate person in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
And there you go.
There you go. I don't know if there was supposed to be that kind of connection, but there was. So
all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. They say, hey, what are you here for? What do you want? And they're like, what are you doing here? And they're all, hey, you guys need to stay back. You need to stay. Hey, this is what we're doing. So hey, we're looking for, and you're gonna have to. Once again, I'm the person with names is perfect for me. I don't do names well. But the guy that they're looking for, and they're in Tybalt, whatever the heck is his name again?
Tybalt. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Said, hey, he's back in the kitchen over there. Why didn't you say so? I mean, they had a little bit of a heated exchange, but he said, he's back in the kitchen over there. Which turns out he was in the kitchen.
Yeah, but what happens is
his head was.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So his head was there, and so Dalton goes in there, and so it's like, whoa, there's a head there, and then she runs out because she knows there's a trap for the other guys. She runs out, and then the chapter ends up where they're all like at gunpoint. Dalton gets her gun taken away, and everybody's got their gun points taken out, and it kind of stops there. So it leaves you kind of hanging.
Cliffhanger.
What's going to happen?
Yes. And we will bring that up next show.
Next
episode, which is going to be on the 19th. And just, so we were doing, we'd announced we were doing the theme thing. And so next episode is May 19th, guys. And it's our Buck Rogers in the 25th century
Buck Rogers
theme.
in the 25th? Oh, it's Duck Dodgers. Never mind.
Yeah, come on. And it's inspired by, so it still works. And we're going to have Paul Evans, and he is the administrator of one of the Buck Rogers groups on Facebook.
Right, one of the large Buck Rogers groups.
Yeah, and he happens to be a super fan and a collector. He has original props from Buck Rogers.
Which is cool.
So he's coming on the show to help us celebrate the Buck Rogers themed episode that we're going to have. So we're looking forward to that. And Paul, thank you for joining us. He's thanking us. And let's see, bro, Rick Springfield is a DJ on XM 80s channel. That info came up when he was getting ready to play that song. Interesting.
He just came. He's touring now. The 40th and their 45th anniversary. I can't remember. I follow him on Facebook. He's got the 40th anniversary or 45th anniversary tour of celebrating the working class dog.
Rick Springfield, right?
Rick Springfield. Yes.
Yeah. So, Carl, very cool. Thank you for that little tidbit of information. That's very interesting.
So he's touring now. So go catch him while you can.
Yeah, right. Well, guys, all good things. Want to thank everyone for tuning in and supporting. Looking forward to all the shows, the cons, maybe meeting some of you now that things are settling back into some kind of a normal. Lola says, getting ready for bed. Great show. Thanks, Lola, for joining us. We love having everybody here live, and we also love everybody that watches this later. Right, so there's everybody all over the world, whether it's the Philippines or it's Brazil or Austria or Canada or Australia, South America, wherever you guys
Mars,
are,
Jupiter,
Greece.
Uranus.
Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your support and listening in and tuning in. Don't forget to give us the likes. Don't forget to keep hitting those likes. And till the next show, you know where to find us, right? Info at interfleetbroadcasting.com.
Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, we're there pretty much. I forgot the other ones. What's the picture one?
YouTube, dang it. Twitch,
which really sounds like a real. I mean, I'm on Twitch. It sounds like a drug. Yeah.
It's really like a gamer's thing, but
it's a gamer thing. But they do live streams, so we're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, YouTube. We broadcast everywhere we can, and of course, Twitter is out there too. So the new Twitterverse is out there.
We have some stuff up on Spotify too.
Yep, we're working on. So Spotify had some podcasts, but Facebook stopped doing podcasting. So Spotify now does video casting. So I'm now exploring that this weekend. That's my job this weekend. Is I do my IFB jobs every deep dive pretty much every weekend, as well as writing a script. So we're doing something called the Tipsy Toaster Productions. We will be making a fan film. So
yes, we are, guys.
Lining up some people. We're lining up some real actors, not like Hollywood A-listing, but we've got some people we're looking at. We're going to do Martin's story. Hopefully, we've got Mediocre Modeler on board to help us make our own Battlestar emblems and helmets, and we've got the CGI guys on board, and we're going to do Martin's story. I mean, we're talking.
And
if you ever watched what was the episode? Lost Warrior.
Well, Lost Warrior. Actually, I was going to say that George Zuvalos.
Yep, George.
Award-making, filmmaker, actor, writer, producer.
Multi-award-winning.
Yeah. Yes, multi. He's on board, and so is, of course, our own George. George G. He's actually, everybody knows that he's an Emmy-winning tech in the industry. Obviously, he's on board as well, and everybody else is all helping out. So we're polishing off the script.
Yep, and I think we're about 3/4 done. I think there's some
maybe even more.
Maybe a little more. There's some things we need to fix. I mean, there's we're doing backstories on Lacerda. We're doing backstories on Bella. We're doing backstories on Martin. So
this is don't be confused before we call it a night, guys. This is not an IFB production.
Nope, this is Tipsy Toaster Productions.
Yes,
IFB is helping, but it is not. IFB is a not-for-profit. Tipsy Toaster is the
fan film isn't either.
It's not for profit either, but we don't want to get it confused. The IFB is a news and commentary pop culture thing, whereas a movie is not pop culture and news. So we didn't want that to be confused. So we're pulling it out of IFB and dropping it into my Tipsy Toaster Productions from there.
That's right. So, good night, John.
So that's all I got to say. That should look familiar. And we had a new way of looking at this. It looks like a base star is being stabbed by a big.
I agree 100%. So with that said, guys, stay well, stay safe.
Yes, and of course, fans feel the fleet because without fans, we'd be talking to each other because we're fans, anyways. But so thanks a lot for joining us. Look forward to the Tipsy Toaster Productions. We'll be putting a new Facebook site out, and we're gonna make something happen. I'm tired of seeing. I'm tired of not seeing a good, or not even a good. I shouldn't say good. I'm tired of not seeing a fan film concentrating on Battlestar Galactica 1978. Let's find so we wanted to get an idea of backstories and fill in some stuff that one of the episodes didn't fill in. Wasn't my favorite episode, but I think it's got a really good story to it, so we're going to go forward with it. So hopefully you join us for that too. So, but because we know you're fans, we're fans, and of course fans for the fleet. Thank you again for coming tonight. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for all that you do, and keep fueling the fleet. And we will see you next Thursday. Anything else, Pete?
No, that wraps up. Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody.
There to you.
Last comments and all. This is to you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll keep you posted. Stay well, everybody.
Take care.